So I just wanted to go ahead and make this video because it's something that's really personal to me and something that if I'm able to help other people with, and other girls, young girls especially with, then it's something that I want to do. As you can tell from the title, this video is going to be about my experience co-parenting with what used to be an abusive partner, which is now an abusive co-parent. So if you guys have been following me for a while, then you guys know kind of my background story and how stupid I was as a kid, and that I was in a very, very abusive relationship. And yet, I still allowed the relationship to continue, and we had a child. So those videos have long since been deleted because they just didn't reflect a good point in my life, and I was just a very sad, depressed, not so stable kid. And like I said, those videos have long since been deleted because they don't bring something happy to me. They bring something more so of, unhappiness and depression, and I don't want to deal with that. So, flashing forward, me and my son's father have been in a custody battle since my son was 7 months old. When my son was 7 months old, that's when he first petitioned to try to get 50-50 custody with me, and to have an arrangement set up and all of that. Now, when we first went to court, it was fine. He was fine with the schedule. I was fine with the schedule. My son, like I said at the time, was only like 8 months old, I believe. 8 or 9 months old when we actually started the agreement. And so no judge obviously granted him overnights or anything like that. At first, it was that I was had to be present during all time. And then it switched over to kind of him having him for days, and then him having him overnights was going to be eventually. Now, here's where the abusive part of it started. When he started transitioning from having him from the day to having him to overnights, he was really unhappy with how slow the process was. Now, he was only supposed to have him for day visits. I believe it was for 3 months before he got overnights, and he was still not happy with that. So that's when the problems really started, that, he was very, very upset. He didn't like the fact that, it was taking so long, and why did I have to be there, and that was his child, that he knew how to parent, yada, yada, yada. So that's where the problem started as far as him being what used to be an abusive ex, because obviously he showed me that he still had those signs, those qualities, that he still wanted things to be his way, and it was his way or the highway type of thing. Now, when my son was, I'm kind of flash forwarding, this video is going to be like all over the place because it's going to be from there to now, and then I'm going to kind of be talking about in the middle and how things change and how things get better and how things get worse. So flash forwarding to about, I want to say it was November of last year, me and him had a very, not 2016, 2015, me and him had a very huge fight because he refused to bring him back home. Now again, this is another situation of controlling and abusive people. So he refused to bring my son back home, therefore causing me to call the cops, and we had a huge incident where I don't want to get too much into detail, but you guys can only imagine, with an abusive ex, I ended up with a restraining order against him. Now, this is where the situation turned, because of the circumstances on which I got the restraining order, it also involved my child and technically was considered kidnapping allegations. We had to go back into, supervised visitation, and him only getting him for maybe 2 hours at most. And right now, like I said, a year something later, we are at that he takes him 8 hours a day and 1 day a week, and that's fine with me, like I said. But I mean, where I'm kind of going with this is the in the middle type of thing, which is where the situation does get ugly. And I mean, when you've been in an abusive relationship, it's really hard because you automatically feel like you have to satisfy that other person, because that's just the way that you that's just the way that you had been in the relationship. So, everything they said went, and everything that, they said had to be done correctly and according to them, and if you didn't agree, you know, there was problems at the end of the situation. So one of the things I definitely learned, and that was from counseling and from, you know, my many visits to mediation and court, unfortunately, is that, you know, it's okay to say no. If you're not happy with something and you don't feel like the arrangement that is being chosen is right for you or for your child, then don't do it. Don't agree to it. Don't ever feel like you're going to be pressured into saying yes, or don't ever feel like somebody's going to force you, or like somebody's going to think that you're a bad parent because you're not what your abuser is going to call co-parenting, which is honestly just them trying to get you to agree to what they're doing. And that's what an abuser is going to call co-parenting, but let me tell you, it is not co-parenting. Don't feel like you're being forced to make a decision. Make the decision that's right for your child, depending on their age and depending on, you know, school and other family functions that you have going on. Don't feel forced to make a decision based on somebody else's opinion. Don't do it. Another thing that I'm going to tell you guys is that this advice actually came to me from a police officer the night that I got my restraining order, and that was they're always going to want to have that hold on you. And if you let them, they're gonna keep it. I mean, I'm not talking about the hold, the obvious hold that you know, you guys have a child together, but I'm talking about the hold where he feels like he can control every decision that you make and that he's still controlling your life. That is the hold that I'm talking about. And with that, the cops did tell me, he was like, you know, they're going to use everything in the book. They're definitely going to use their child against you because it's the last little piece that they have of you, and they know that that's the number one way to get to a mom is through her kid. So he even told me that it's very, very common. It's something that you shouldn't feel stupid for if, you know, you let yourself fall for that once or twice, that you do something out of your own character to save your child, because the abuser knows that you're going to do that. So definitely I took that advice into character because I had a lot of issues with that. He knew how to test my patience, and I fell for it more than a few times, and, you know, it got me into some pretty bad trouble, and I regret it to this day. But from now on, I know that it's better to kind of handle things on your own and just take a step back and say, you know what, at the end of the day, they're never going to hurt my child, and don't let him get to you. Don't let him hurt you. Don't let him, you know, make you cry or make you upset. 'Cause at the end of the day, that's an abuser's fantasy. You know, if they don't have that control over you anymore, they're going to make your life a living hell. And so don't give them that satisfaction. Don't give them, you know, the opportunity to say, like, I beat you, I made you cry. No, you know, if you're doing something and it involves custody or arrangements like that, then do it for our child. Do it because you want to spend more time for him. Don't do it because, you know, you want to hurt the other person. And the same obviously goes for the mom. I'm not going to be biased and say, you know, that it's always like that, because sometimes the moms do that. Sometimes the moms, you know, decide to hold back and hold their kids from seeing their dads for personal reasons. More than, you know, a good chunk of them usually involve the fact that the other parent has a significant other, which you may not like, which that's a completely different video. But yeah, most moms, when they tend to do that, and I'm not saying every mom, and I'm not saying, you know, some of them don't have a good reason. Sorry, just moving you guys down a little bit. I'm not saying some of them don't have a good reason, or most of them don't have a good reason to do it. It's just some of them do it for a personal reason that's also a vendetta, and you don't realize that at the end of the day, the only one who that actually hurts is your child. So it's really hard, and I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm perfect. I'm still dealing with it, and I still have problems with it. I still, you know, fall for little things here and there, and I'm still dealing with mediation. I have mediation actually in like 3 weeks, I think. I have it like on the end of February, and I have a court date in March, and like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm just giving my advice, and I, you know, would love to hear anybody else's advice that they have on the same situation, because it's hard, and it's hard to deal with it by yourself, and especially someone who hasn't been through it. I mean, obviously, we all have, you know, family. We have new significant others, and they're great to talk to, but when it comes time to somebody who has been through the same situation as you or is going through the same situation as you, it's amazing to be able to talk to those people. So I'm here if anybody does want to talk, or if anybody wants to give me your words of advice on how to deal with co-parenting with an ex-abusive partner. Go ahead and you can send me a private message, or you can leave it in the comments below, and hopefully we get to, be able to support each other, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's not about, bashing our babies' fathers together. It's about coming together and saying, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be happy, even though you're dealing with this and you're always going to deal with this. It's okay to be happy, and it's okay to move on. And the feelings that you have are normal, and they're not stress, and you don't need to go to therapy. It's something that I feel like girls can talk about and feel comfortable talking about it, especially with people, like I said, who have been through it. So like I'm saying, I feel like I'm rambling on like so much. But go ahead and leave me a comment down below, or if you guys have any other tips and tricks that you guys would like to let me know. You can also leave those in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.